Greetings and blessings coming to you once again from the Zen Tarot studios of Sunco for Divinity. I am Yahshua Elohim, and I am the co founder and the co creator of Sunco for Divinity. Um, I, I think I've been avoiding trying to come on. Why, I don't know. Maybe because I'm putting too much thought into what I can do versus what the spirit can do through me. I have to remind myself constantly that it is never I that doeth the work, but it is the spirit of the Almighty, of all that is and all that will ever be, that does it through me. Um, and that will consist of my ancestors, my spiritual guides, the elements of life, the four directions of the earth, as above, so below. So once I guess you could say I got out of my own way to come forth and be somewhat of a channel to get this message out. The word that came up um, with me, and again, it came up because I was talking to a person, and I recognized that some people just will not take accountability for their actions, for the actions that they may have caused, or the detriment and the turmoil that they have brought into someone else's life. They will not, for whatever reason, well, I know the reason, they will not take accountability. Now, because of that, I sense that they can't take accountability because once they begin to take accountability for their actions and their part in a situation or relationship or an experience, it will dismantle the false belief system that they have about who they are, what they think they are, and how they conduct themselves. It will just dismantle that. And because of that dismantling, it'll probably cause a nervous breakdown. It will cause them to have a nervous breakdown simply because the dismantling is the removing of a mask. That mask consists of several other masks that follow right behind it. So, um, people that don't want to take accountability, uh, they do it because they are protecting the mask that they wear. But hey, you know, when you have these people, certain individuals in your life such as that, you know, as a spiritual being having this human experience, you have to keep in mind, I mean, keep in mind in the forefront of your forehead that they are in your life and they spend time in your energy simply because you have consented for them to do so. And in that, you have to ask yourself, well, why would I bring such a person into my life? Why would I attract a person into my life? Why would I attract danger in my life? Why would I attract a liar in my life? Why would I attract someone who likes to dabble uh, in, and I'll use the word pornography, but that's neither here nor there. But dabble in things that you are totally contradictive to, that goes against every your divine nature. Why would you attract such a person into your life? I found myself in a situation where a person came into my life and I kept them in my life. And I knew that they were not supposed to be there. But because I had not come to the full fulfillment or the fulfilling of recognizing who I was and who and the worthiness of who I am, um, they they were allowed to stay. They were allowed to stay because there was a frequency that I was already running that they could attach themselves to. Mm? See, a lot of times people know who you are before you know them. A lot of times people know who you are and what you're capable of before you even recognize that within yourself. I'll tell you one of the biggest mistakes that I have made in my life in this spiritual journey. And I have to say that I have to retract that because based on the science of mind, Ernest Holmes, there are no mistakes. And there are no mistakes to be made. It was just an experience. Now, I could label it as a mistake, and I'm gonna tell you something about that because there's something with that. When, like, for instance, I'm saying that I had an experience. I had an experience with someone who was not. We didn't drink from the same well. Let me put it like that. We didn't drink the same water. I like for my water to be spring water, purified and clean. But and that's not to say that that person didn't. They did. It's just they preferred it in a different degree. Okay, let me. Everything it comes in degrees. There's a degree to all things. There's a degree to all things. Remember that there are degrees to all things. Even if you look at the natal chart, your natal chart, you will notice that there's degrees between each planet. You know, you may be a little bit more of a Capricorn than you are a Sagittarius, and you don't even realize it because the the degrees. Or I'll say this: you have the potential. You have the potential to express yourself in Capricornian ways than you would as a Sagittarius or a Scorpio, whatever the case is. You understand what I'm saying? I, but I kind of lost my thought there of going back to Ernest Holmes, The Science of Mind. He says that there are no mistakes and there are no mistakes to be made. And there were no mistakes made. Now, he says that because he doesn't recognize mistakes. He recognizes that there are nothing more than a continuation of experiences that come into your life to assist you in cultivating the wholeness and the completion of who you are as a spiritual being, right? Okay. So the power lies in the tongue of the beholder. So if I sit here and say it was a mistake, guess what? That keeps me in a stagnant place or space whenever I think about that individual. But if, and now that I say, oh, it was just an experience that I went through, a human experience that I went through as a spiritual being to assist and cultivate me in the perfecting of my spirituality. Huh? I have more power over that situation if I state it from the latter as far as just having an experience versus being a mistake. See, power lies with the beholder. The perception lies with the beholder. If you perceive a thing to be a mistake, then it must be a mistake because you are the creator of that reality. And on top of that, because you're the creator of that reality, guess what? The universe has to reinforce your reality that you have created. See, there's a law, and that law, there's a law in the universe that moves whether we like it or not. Cause and effect is always going to be in motion. The law of correspondence, the law of polarity, the law of gender, the law of rhythm and vibration, all of those laws, they are going to be in motion. They are going to be in motion. But I'm going to tell you something, and I'll say this: the law is not, the law is impersonal. I'll put it like this: it is impersonal. I don't care who you are, what you are, and how you may come to serve. It is impersonal. I will tell you what is spontaneous, though, is the love that one may have for themselves that will move through that law, and that law will give you back exactly what you put into it. Now, if you put into the law your words of recklessness, using words like mistake, bad, or even using good, because see, the universe or the laws of the universe, they don't see, it doesn't see big or small, large or medium. It doesn't see that. It just sees the form. And see, it's interesting. It's good that it only creates the form and it knows it from the form, because the form can expand. See, the form is, ooh, I feel the energy. The the form expands. But if you say, oh, that's bad, guess what? You cause it to lock in and you cause it to be contracted. Okay? You cause it to just be deadlocked, or even good, it's deadlocked. Just consider it to be an experience. Just consider it to be an experience, knowing that all things work together for the betterment and the cultivation of your own spirituality. I understand that we have to use labels to bring about some type of understanding or clarity, but sometimes the labels that we use and how we assign words to certain places and spaces and experiences in our lives, they keep us stuck. Huh? They keep us stuck in places and spaces that no longer serve who we are. There's a science to the mind. There's a science of using the mind upright. There's a science. There's a science of using the laws correctly. There's a science to it, and we have to know how to use our minds correctly. We have to learn and watch how nature operates, because you don't have to read a book. You can just study the movements of nature and know that if you spit out of your mouth something that is unpure, unclean, hateful, and angry, you must understand that that seed that you just spit out into the garden or the field of the universe, the universe, the soul of the universe must return unto you that same fruit, unless you correct yourself, unless you find uh, see the errors of your own ways, unless you do that. Only by prayer and fasting can one move into a quiet, silence, tranquil state of meditation, contemplation. Hmm? I believe that to be true because I had my own experience and I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for all those who have come into my life, and I'm grateful for all of those who have left. I am grateful for I'm still the thing here to take is that I'm still grateful either way. I'm grateful for the coming in and I'm grateful for the going out. So me and Anubis here, we're doing our thing. I'm so glad I came on because I didn't know. I know that I was given a word, accountability, but sometimes when the spirit moves upon me to speak, it just gives me a word, and through that word, it channels through me the things that I need to speak about, and I'll say something about that. It's because there are two types of channels. There are two. There's a channel that is in total cooperation with spirit, and there's a channel that would rather sit back and allow the channel to possess them. I mean, the spirit guide to possess them. I work with a committee. I work with a team of spiritual guides, and this is how they chose to channel through me, and I'm so grateful because I am a lover of words. I like to use my voice, and I trust that the things that I say out of my mouth are for the good, and that it will fall on good soil, and it will fall on the ears of those who need to hear. Hmm? So, with that, I say this: stay blessed, stay focused, stay in light. And if you happen to find yourself in darkness, get all the understanding, overstanding that you can possibly get. Because at some day, you're going to be called. You're going to be called to be accountable for all these things. All these things. All these things. I never come on here, I just go right into my channeling. But this could be my last part. If you like what I said, just go ahead and like me, like the you know the the message. If you like what I say or you like how I come about and talk about things, subscribe. If you like what I said and you think it would help someone, go ahead and share it with this person or that person. Okay. So with that, I am signing off, and I say to you all, stay focused.